All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yabushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and grace and peace to you elect around the four winds, believing and pushing this truth in all sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. This is your fellow servant, Rokalia from the GMS Orlando camp, coming at you another impromptu lesson, another in transit. And I just had a couple of things I was meditating on, this past couple of days. I just wanted to put on wax. Lord willing, set a fun unto you elect. One of the things being these snap that are being booked as of November of this year. And with that happening, a lot of things are going to proceed, after those SNAP benefits are revoked, because not only is it affecting the so-called black woman, but it's affecting a lot of these low-class Edomites as well. And brothers have been getting into lessons on how the majority of the sedition spoken about in 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, are going to come from these Edomites who are being gypped out of their own society. The elites of Esau Edom are pulling a chair from right under the ashes of their own people. And a lot of these Edomites are now starting to realize that the elites of their own don't give a damn about them. And this up-and-coming culling, in this up-and-coming culling, they're going to be collateral. It's going to be collateral damage. And Esau's attempt to oppress and overtake the nation of Israel, all right, with the mark of the beast, all right, with the engineered famines, with the engineered riots, with the engineered, chaos and sedition. All right, a lot of them are going to be caught up in it, and are going to be the results of collateral damage. And a lot of the brunt of that sedition, spoken about in 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, is going to come from these disgruntled Edomites. These Edomites who have voted year in and year out, for a change. They voted year in and year out, hoping to see some type of change, hoping to see their lives take a turn for the best. And lo and behold, their last great white hope, DJ Trump, is the further thing is the furthest thing from that. All right, they're now starting to experience the average life of a Negro, Latino, or Native American Indian, and they're not going to put up with it for too much longer. They're not going to put up with it for too much longer. That's why you see these protests happening, these No King protests. You have a lot of these Edomite militia groups getting together and starting to train up in the mountains in Virginia, North Carolina, and so on and so forth. All right, that sedition is going to come. All right, this SNAP benefits really affected about 37 to 43% of Edomite households. And not only is this going to, engineer or lead up to sedition, it's also a part of the famine, all right, that the Bible speaks about as well. The Bible speaks about there being a famine both of bread and of water. All right, and that's what we're seeing being engineered right now. And it's only going to take one major crisis for this all to come down. I've been meditating on a statement that the elder Bishop Itazwan made at camp, last Thursday. And, he was saying how it's only going to take one major crisis in order for this all to kick off. And that's what we're waiting for, this one major crisis. And we see how Esau has used every crisis so far, so-called crisis so far, to move the goalpost of this new age that he's trying to engineer. All right, further. For an example, you have this guy, Big Balls, all right, who was assaulted over there in Baltimore, I believe, or Washington, somewhere around that area, which was one of the Facebook, representatives. And as he was resulted, what proceeded from that assault, it was on video, he got assaulted by a couple of YNs. What proceeded from that was this whole militarizing of the troops. They started sending troops into these urban cities, these predominantly Jake inhabited cities, Chicago, LA, Memphis, so on and so forth. All right, and that all proceeded from that one crisis, which wasn't even a crisis. It was just one incident, that sparked that gave Esau the president to move and militarize his troops. Excuse me. Um, you also had another crisis, a so-called crisis that happened that led to Esau Edom implementing and these AI surveillance technologies. So like, I got distracted for a second. But you also had another crisis that led to these AI surveillance technologies being implemented as well, and companies like Palantir being exposed, all right, for collecting data, all right, on the American people and creating files, for each and every person that uses the internet. All right, these different crises are all leading up to one big happening, and once that one big happening takes place, that mark of the beast is going to be implemented in society, and this is plain as day. Hey, shalom, how about you, shalom, shalom. But once that big happening happens, whatever it is, that one, it's only going to take one. But once it happens, that's going to set precedent for Esau Edom to move in with his solution, all right, which is ultimately going to be the mark of the beast, which is that RFID microchip. And we can see how he's engineering, or he's creating a modern day siege. All right, Esau is coming down on all sides, on the public school sector, all right, on the government assistance sector. A lot of these people that are used to receiving government assistance, they're playing right into the hand of Esau Edom, because as soon as all these government assistance gets taken away, what's going to be their next resort? To take whatever Esau Edom has for them, man. To take that chip. They're going to be willing that, and that day they're going to be willing, standing in line, all right, to receive that mark from Esau Edom, to go back to some form of normalcy, or so they think. But it's not going to happen like that. They're being set up and played right into the hands of Esau Edom. And we can see it as clear as day. And that's why the scriptures say in 2 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter, in the 11th verse, that lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And we're not ignorant of the devices of the so-called white man. All right, we see exactly what he's doing, and we see exactly how he's going about to establish this new world, this new age that he's been dreaming about since the Greek Empire. It's the same old Edomite, the same old devil. And now the Lord is put it on his mind, put it on his spirit to move concerning his plans. We're living in some very, very, very beautiful times, man. Very beautiful times. We prayed to be in this moment right now. The men of old desire to see and to witness these things that we're seeing and witnessing, as we speak. Right now we're living at the end of this wicked empire. All right, America is spiraling down the drain. Whilst it's trying to command control, over, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They're having problems outside, with World War III, these countries coming against the whore. All right, China, Russia, Iran, all right, are now teaming up together to fight against Babylon. And this is all Bible prophecy. All right, this is all Bible prophecy. And it's only going to take that one event, that one major crisis, for it all to come down. And whilst we're in the midst of these SNAP benefits being taken away, you have joblessness or unemployment at an all-time high. All right, more and more jobs are being taken away. More and more people are being laid off due to the implementation of AI within their respective work fields, due to companies going bankrupt and so on and so forth. A lot of jobs are being lost. And joblessness leads to homelessness. It also leads to famine. And it also is a precedent for sedition. Because what do you think these people are going to do when they have no job, they have no means to take care of their families, and they have a wife and 2 kids? You know, they're going to do exactly what the scripture said they're going to do. All right, they're going to move according to the power of their hand, like it says in 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter. Whatever is in the power of their hand to do, that's what they're going to do. And the majority of these people are going to show their true face in these up and coming days, especially the so-called white man. The so-called white man has been able to hide behind the veil of being a business owner, a businessman, a philanthropist, an entrepreneur. All right, when in reality, he's the basest man on the planet Earth. He's a natural brute beast. He's just been hiding behind three-piece suits and Stacey Adams. But we're getting ready to see the true face of Esau Edom, the so-called white man, here in these up and coming days, because this society is going to be driven into a state of despair. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, man. And that's when true faces are going to be revealed. But it's only going to take that one crisis to reveal it. You know, it's only going to take that one. We see how Esau is moving against us on the internet. He's moving against us on the highways and byways. He's trying to get us taken off the highways and byways. He's got this AI surveillance technology set in place to build cases against us, you know, to collect data on us, you know, to put us in some type of file. We already know these things, man. You know, we know he's getting ready to come down with great wrath. And one thing we also know is that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to uplift the standard within the lives of the elect. And the victory is also going to be claimed by the elect as well, alongside Yahushai. You know, with that being said, I've reached my destination, Lord. When this is edifying to your elect, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and grace and peace to you, elect around the four winds, believing and pushing this truth in all sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. Shalom. Stay up.